Time for me to discuss one of the things I treasure most in this world. Family? Nah. Friends? Nah. YouTube? Close. But it's actually the Looney Tunes. Jokes aside, though, I am a big Looney Tunes fan. It's a shame I really barely get to talk about it on the channel because I really do love the original Looney Tunes, and honestly, while I don't watch it a ton, I've always admired the golden age of animation. Tom and Jerry, Popeye, Fleischer, which technically was originally made Popeye, but sane people don't know that. Still, I love that type of shit, and Looney Tunes is the cream of the crop in my opinion. Especially the 40s and 50s. That I think Looney Tunes during the 40s and 50s is one of the It's just some of my favorite pieces of animation and just one of my favorite pieces of media ever, honestly. Chuck Jones, Friz Freeling, Robert McKimpson were being the main three, but the 40s had a couple other stars like Art Davis, who justice for Davis, bro. However, out of I think one of the main reasons I do love Looney Tunes so much, beyond the directors and all that, is simply just the characters. Looney Tunes has the best line. Warner Brothers had the best line of characters made during the golden age of animation, and I don't want to hear otherwise. I mean, come on. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, Sylvester. All these dudes are so peak. And even before then, like Porky, who was introduced in like the mid 30s, like he's peak too. However, out of the main recognizable cast we all know, was one of them that arguably has to be the weakest. And before you say anything, when I mean real Looney Tunes stars, I do mean real ones. No Bosco or Buddy or whatever bland generic guys were in the 30s. I mean, like, from Porky Pig onward, like the stars who actually matter and are genuinely good. What one, or I guess in this case, two have to be at the bottom, and well, why am I doing this? You all know who I'm talking about. They're in the damn thumbnail and in the title of this episode. Yes, I believe Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner are Looney Tunes' weakest main stars. Time to have everyone in the comments be like, "Oh, Z-Man, you're like a disgrace to humanity. Go back, go back to where you came from." Then I show them that this is my room, and they're like, "Oh, never mind." But yes, they are my least favorite. And it's not just me either. My family almost universally agrees that they are not that good. My brother really doesn't like them. When my dad was talking to us about Looney Tunes a few months ago, he was like, "Oh, yeah, I've never been even as a kid, I was never really a big Roadrunner fan." So it's like in my family blood to consider these guys some of the weaker Looney Tunes stars, which is crazy work, but in a good way. I mean, we all also agree Daffy Duck is the objective best one, so I guess they also know taste in terms of the Looney Tunes. But why? Why do I think they're the weakest ones? Obviously, I can't just say that and then just look, okay, end video. I gotta have some genuine reasons here to back up my claim. Well, okay, here is reason number one. They're all the same. Okay, so at least with like Elmer or Yosemite chasing bugs, or Sylvester chasing Tweety or Speedy Gonzalez, at least they mix it up a little bit. Sure, it's still like the usual slapstick routine and all that. It's not like the most. Admittedly, one problem the Looney Tunes has is that sometimes they can repeat jokes and all that, and a lot of them can come out. A lot of cartoons can come off as very similar, but they're usually still good and funny. So it's like, who cares? But Wile E and the Roadrunner, God, all their cartoons are the same. And I know Chuck Jones' 11 Rules for Roadrunner and all that. I know about all that, okay? I know that like taking them out of the desert would ruin, or adding new characters to their dynamic would ruin them. But honestly, personally speaking, it makes them kind of boring because really it's like almost every Wile E joke is the same at that point. Man, he's trying to get the Roadrunner, but he fails. Don't get me wrong, I still like them, and they can still definitely be funny for sure. But I'm just saying it feels a lot harder to really be that surprised or really be that really find it that funny when it feels like every time I watch a Wile E, it's gonna be a series of random gags. Yeah, I don't know. They all come off as so samey. It's not great. Reason number two, it is the lack of characters. Come on. At least if Tom and Jerry, they have like Spike and Butch and all that. Like they knew you need other characters, but like really, what did Roadrunner and Coyote really have? Don't get me wrong, the Coyote. I before anyone says it, I know the Coyote goes up against Bugs Bunny in a few cartoons. I'm aware of this. Z-Man knows. He is the Looney Tunes expert. But at the same, and don't get me wrong, I like him in the Bugs Bunny ones. Because in those ones he talks and he's like he's such a narcissist. Like you want to see Bugs kick this guy's shit. Wiley's T needs to be clocked. However, in when he's up against the Roadrunner, I do like the idea that was one of Truck Jones' original rules that Wiley could totally stop catching this dude at any time, but like he just continues to because he's at this point he's just so desperate for it. Like that's a cool idea for like a cartoon character, but then you realize, oh wait, this applies to Elmer Fudd, and applies to Sylvester, and applies to the Daffy Duck's jealousy of Bugs Bunny, and it applies to all this shit. So it's really not even something I can directly say, "Oh man, yeah, Wiley, you original with that one, G." I really can't, you know? And it's a shame because again, it was such a cool idea when I first heard about it as a kid, watching that Dave Lee Down Under video about their evolution, being like, "Oh man, this is cool." But then it's like, man, this maybe not. Also, I think simply as characters, Wile-E and the Roadrunner aren't the best. It's funny considering they were originally made to be a one-offs that were just meant to parody cartoon chases because, yeah, that's kind of just all they are. Admittedly, I loved Roadrunner a lot as a kid, and even though I'm not as big on him now, I still consider Roadrunner like the definition of a guilty pleasure character, in my opinion, because I know Roadrunner technically sucks as a character. Even people who generally like these cartoons always root for the Coyote, which fair enough, but I can't help it. It's a Roadrunner going beep 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 beep. It's so charming. I love that stupid thing. Honestly, that carries him so hard as a character. Ah, shit. Who's the dude? I'm swearing way too much in this video. I apologize, but who's the dude who did the? Because it's not Mel Blanc who voiced like 90% of the other Looney Tunes. It's some other dude. But it was based off him just saying beep beep. We used to having like animation layouts or something, and then Chuck was like, big brain idea," and just got dude to like record the same few meeps that he can just reuse. That was a very fun idea. I'm glad they just got the guy in to do it because no one could do the meep meep better than he could. It's just so iconic. The Coyote, I do think, is genuinely just a better character. I do like that he always goes to Acme. That's at least a funny little bit of thing. That's at least a funny little part of the whole dynamic that he's just using the same really garbage company. And I'm pretty sure Acme, there's a million different Acmes out there because it's such a generic name brand. So seeing the Coyote use this generic name brand and just be like, aha, this will totally get the Roadrunner with this one, chat. It's funny. It could be funny. I do remember this one commercial where like the Coyote was using non-Acme products and like he actually got the Roadrunner. That was pretty funny, even if it's not technically official Looney Tunes media. I mean, do I really have more to say? I do apologize for the shortness of this one, but I feel like any other points I'd make would just be repeating them. I find Roadrunner and the Coyote to be repetitive, not as funny as the other tunes. Them not talking, I'm kind of okay with, but it does mean you can't even get some funny diet word based play like in a Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny short, for an example. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna hear a lot of people be like, "Oh man, why you such a hater?" I like Roadrunner and I like Coyote. I do think a lot of their cartoons are still solid enough, but like they're some of the ones I want to rewatch the least. Hell, even more obscure characters like literally Sam Sheepdog and Ralph Wolf, I like more than them. I like more than Coyote and Roadrunner because even though Ralph Wolf looks exactly like Wile to the point where it genuinely pisses me off how similar they look, at least there's the unique dynamic of them treating it like a regular everyday job. Like, come on, that's funny. Why can't Roadrunner and Coyote be like that? Why can't it, like, at the end of their cartoon, they're like, Welp Runner, Roadrunner, I guess it's time to end their shift. Meep, meep, you can say that again. Meep, meep. What the fuck? You can talk? I don't know about you guys, but I think I should write Looney Tunes fan fiction. How do you feel about that? I should totally do that. And if we're gonna be real here, I guess if I have one positive thing to say is that every once in a while I watch Looney Tunes cartoons, aka the HBO Max show, and unironically, I think those are my favorite Roadrunner cartoons ever made, even more than the Chuck Jones ones. I mean, come on, the Rudy Lariva ones are some of the worst Looney Tunes cartoons ever made. And even past that, a lot of the later Roadrunner Coyote stuff isn't good. Kind of like how a lot of Looney Tunes media kind of isn't the best after the golden age. But I think with this new Looney Tunes series, I genuinely think these ones are a bit more creative and fun. They're still not great in some of the weakest parts of the series, but at least they're at least a bit more creative. Like doing this climate control one where Wile is like using a cloud and all that. Or my personal favorite, the cloning one. Coyote cloning it to like a thousand different versions of himself to all try to get the Roadrunner. That's a funny premise. Come on, we all love. You gotta love it. So yeah, I genuinely recommend those the most in terms if you want to get some good Wily Roadrunner content. And admittedly, I'll always have a soft spot for those kind of bad looking but still admirable 3D animated Roadrunners from the Looney Tunes show. Hey, give it credit. It's the only part of the Looney Tunes show that's actually like, loony. I say this as someone who likes the Looney Tunes show, but seriously, everyone acts like it's the best Looney Tunes thing ever made. It's good, but it's not like that good. And I'm so thankful that at least the Roadrunner and the Coyote at least are still like their classic loony selves. But that's for a whole different rant that I don't want to go into. I don't want to go into. So yeah, overall, I'm sorry guys, but I'm never gonna get the appeal of Coyote and Roadrunner in terms of like the top tier characters. Almost any other Looney Tunes star, I say I'd like more. I guess the only one I can look off the top of my head that I like worse is like the Goofy Gophers. But I don't consider those main stars. They're more side characters. Come on, the main stars like top tiers, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd. Hell, you know what? Foghorn Leghorn is so underrated. That dude is hilarious. I love that guy. My brother does an impression of him all the time. Hell, whenever you hear a Southern impression, it's always Foghorn, bro, because bro's so peak. I say, bro is peak. Underrated classic, I say. And then I proceed to watch the Family Guy cutaway where it's just him at KFC. But yeah, hope you fellow Looney Tunes fans like this video, despite my hot take. Hopefully you guys are, civilized people who can actually respect other people's opinions. Now I'm curious what you guys think. Do you guys think Bugs Bunny's overrated, or maybe Yosemite Sam? Which Looney Tunes star do you guys think is more while everyone else acts like they're just as peak as the rest? Please let me know because I'm genuinely curious. And let me know what other type of Looney Tunes content you guys want. Because again, I freaking love the Looney Tunes. I love these guys so much. So, admittedly, it hurts a little bit to act like to be so negative on such a classic pair. But it's just my thoughts, bro. With that, I'll see you guys next time.